the channel. I'm back to break down this 15-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Excited to get into it. I hope you guys get back in the green and win some money. Before we do, a quick reminder, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be greatly appreciated. And I do offer a premium package link below in the description. You get access to all the same tools I use when building my own DFS lineups if you want to check that out. And I'm also doing some NFL content, and I'm offering an NFL premium package, so check that out as well. And I've just added a new feature to the channel, including memberships. If you want to become a KJK DFS fan club member, you go ahead and click the join button. That's below the video as well, next to the subscribe button. And you can select from a multiple amount of packages to become a fan club member. You get access to like exclusive emojis, and you get a badge next to your name, and you get priority in any comments that you leave on my videos. So it's a nice little thing. I mean, it's completely optional. You don't have to feel pressure to do it at all, but if you want to get, priority in the comments and just show your support daily and monthly, that'd be a good option to do it. There's multiple price levels. I've had people reach out to me and say, what can I do for you after I have a big win? Maybe you win a tournament or something and you become a KJK DFS fan club member for the year or something. So I think that'll be a nice little alternative for you. You can also support me by checking out the Patreon package and simply just hitting the like button on this video. It's free. It takes 2 seconds to do. Helps me out in a great way. So thank you for all the support. And don't forget to stay tuned in the video for my home run call of the day. Let's go ahead and get into the slate, though, with all that out of the way. And I like to do that by starting my sheet by K-Rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. And the top guy in the slate today is going to be Mr. Dylan Cease taking on the Texas Rangers. He gets a great matchup today, or tonight, I should say, with a 31.1% K overall, a 14.6 swinging strike rate, 29.8% K rate to righties, and a 32.3% K rate to lefties. He has had electric stuff all season long as far as strikeout rate is concerned. And as mentioned, gets to take on this terrible Texas Rangers team, only a 3.53 implied run total. They are not good. He's a 197 favorite. He is 8-6 on FanDuel and over on DraftKings. They have him priced at 9-1. I think he's very reasonably priced for this matchup. You're looking at his recent performances. Got blown up last time by Boston, obviously a much better team. The time before it was a little bit iffy, but 9 strikeouts against the Kansas City Royals. The time before he had 11 strikeouts against Chicago Cubs, 6 innings pitched, 108 pitches, just electric stuff. And I think we can get back to more of a outing like that in this one. Definitely like Dylan Cease. Second on the list, we have Zach Wheeler taking on the New York Mets. Another great option with a 28.9% K overall. Great ground ball, fly ball stuff. Great hard contact stuff. Known as a sinker baller that just really doesn't allow much hard contact at all. Can absolutely throw flames past hitters as well, up to like 99 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour. 98.4% K rate to righties, 29.4% K rate to lefties. Great stuff across the board. And he gets to take on a New York Mets team tonight that, while that isn't the most ideal matchup, it's definitely not the worst in the world. And he's pitching in New York, which is a great pitching environment. Definitely a big upgrade from the Philadelphia ballpark that he now calls home, and you can make a little bit of a case for a revenge narrative if that's your kind of thing here, taking on his former team. So I definitely think Zach Wheeler is going to be a viable option. Chris Sale taking on the Baltimore Orioles is turning off the IL. If he's not limited, he'd be a great option with a 27.5% K overall, a 14.3 swinging strike rate. That's third best on the slate, 28.1% K rate to righties, and a 23% K rate to lefties. Has been very effective since returning from the injured list. And when you're looking at the most recent the most recent reports, he's expected to be activated against the Orioles, and he shouldn't face any significant workload limitations. However, I tend to think returning, he might be on a little bit of a pitch count. I mean, last time he had 86 pitches against the Tampa Bay Rays team, where he gave up 10 hits allowed, only 1 earned run though. And they had a Palm early. So it's tough to really go to Chris Sale. He's been anywhere from 80 to like 95 pitches. So, I mean, it's a great matchup. Everything kind of lines up. I'm just like, do I really want to go to Chris Sale when I feel like they're somewhat limiting him? They're in a wild card race right now. That might stretch them out a little bit more than they have been. You would hope. But we talked about Dylan Cease, Zach Wheeler. I think I'd rather go there where I don't have to really worry about any limitations. Logan Webb taking on the Atlanta Braves could definitely be a high K upside spot. He's got a 28.8% K rate to righties, only a 23.3% K rate to lefties, so we do prefer to target him against right-handed heavy lineups, if at all possible. And when you're looking at the lineup that the Atlanta Braves are expected to roll out tonight, you can see quite a few righties in there. You got Soler, Riley, Duvall, d'Arnaud, Swanson. The lefties, they have Rosario, Freeman, and Albies, so 3 mixed in there. But overall, I think this lineup profiles out pretty well for Logan Webb to have a good game. He's a 163 favorite in San Francisco. Great pitching environment. Everything kind of lines up for him. He's 9-5 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, he's 9-8. Moving further along here, we have Corey Kluber taking on the Cleveland Indians. Another quote-unquote revenge narrative, taking on his former team with a 26.1% carry overall, a 23.2% carry to righties, and a 30.4% carry to lefties. Scratching the revenge narrative, I do think the Cleveland Indians are just a great matchup to be taking on overall. There's going to be plenty of strikeouts there. He is a 186 favorite. The Yankees expected to win this game fairly easily. And as far as who's going to be on the bump on the other side, it says Eli Morgan here, but I was not anticipating him. I have Zach Plesac listed as the probable pitcher. So I think that's probably who's going to be out there on the bump. And that's who I'd expect to be there. So anyways, random thought, but that just threw me off. But I think Kluber's a great play. He's 7-7 on FanDuel over on DraftKings. They have him priced at $9K, especially on FanDuel at that 7-7 discount is where you definitely want to be playing him. And the last few times out, I mean, he's been slowly but surely climbing his way up in pitch count. He was 58, 68, 78, 82. 5 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts, 2 runs to 4 runs. Not the craziest numbers in the world. Not going to blow you away. I definitely think I like him a lot more on FanDuel. When I see the price tag on DraftKings is far less appealing. But on FanDuel specifically at that price discount, I think he's a decent option to be going to in the mid-range. We do have Walker Buehler taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Less than an ideal matchup, but he's been very good with a 27.7% carry to righties, a 24.3% carry to lefties across the board. It's just a matchup for me. Like, the Reds aren't really the most friendly matchup. He is a 172 favorite. He has been dominant. You can definitely still play him. 9-9 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 10-2. And when you're looking at his last few times out, hasn't had the best 2 performances the last 2 times. I can tell you that much, with only 6 earned runs and then 2 earned runs the last time out. I mean, last time out against San Diego, that's a pretty good performance all around. But you get what I'm saying. As far as from an upside aspect, we need some more strikeouts. And I do think that from an upside aspect, you could definitely be looking to Germán Marquez, which I agree, in the same game here. As far as the environment and everything that this game is going to be taking place in, when we pull it up here, we can see that anytime I see a Colorado name, I just want to confirm that it's not in Coors Field in the back of my brain, and it's not. It's in Washington. Only 8.5 implied run total. I think both these guys could be playing. Jose Gray definitely has some strikeout upside. He's taking on the Colorado Rockies team that we like to target when they're on the road. And while he can be a little bit more so on the hard contact crazy side, there's definitely some upside to be had there. And the same can be said for Germán Marquez, who has had some serious splits this year with a 30.1% carry to righties and a 19.4% carry to lefties. I will say that much. Those really stand out to me. So as far as the Washington lineup, it's a little bit blended, and honestly, there's quite a few lefties towards the bottom of the order, so you can make an argument to fade him because of that, but I think Germán Marquez overall is just a good pitcher. The Washington Nationals lineup doesn't scare me. He's another guy you could be looking to. I mean, this is a huge slate. I don't want to be listing every single option here, so I'm trying to kind of narrow it down. I think we've covered really my top options for the most part. There's really not anyone else that I'm looking to down in the lower range here as I'm going along. Cole Irvin taking on the Angels you could be playing because I'm just going to continue to say it. I'm going to target the Angels. I think Eliza Hernandez taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates is an interesting option, and then Luis Patino taking on Detroit just because Detroit's a team you can always target. Eliza Hernandez has a 28.4% carry to righties and 19% carry to lefties, so another guy that's really dominant against right-handed hitting. When you look at the Pittsburgh lineup, you can see up and down, they do have quite a few lefties, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but it's in Miami, best pitching environment in baseball, you could argue. He's a 169 favorite. The Pittsburgh lineup's really not that good. You have to mention him as a flyer. And then, as I mentioned, Luis Patino, same thing. It's just the Tigers aren't very good. As far as Patino and his pitch count and everything, though, and whether he can actually go deep enough in this game to make it worth for you is a little bit of a debate. He's been mid-70s, 102, 91. He's been a little bit all over the place. Last time against the same Detroit team, he had 3 strikeouts, over 4.1 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. So that's what you could be looking to with Patino. That's honestly all I'd be looking to for pitchers. Let's go ahead and transition over to bat. As always, I'd like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, skill interactive ERA. Worst to best. It's a good way to determine how good a pitcher's been so far in his career and how good he's expected to be in the future, or how good he's been so far in the year, I should say. And the worst has been Zach Davies taking on the Milwaukee Brewers tonight. Very bad across the board. He's had a serious walk issue. He's giving up a 491 slugging to righties, a 464 slugging to lefties. That's not going to get the job done. And he has to take on a Milwaukee Brewers lineup tonight. That one looking at their run total and everything up and down. Here we can see if the lines have been released. They have a 5.59 implied run total. So that just, if that doesn't tell you what you need to know, I don't know what does. It's in Milwaukee. Great hitting environment, especially the left-handed hitters. I love targeting the right field line for the Milwaukee Brewers Stadium in Miller Park. You can see green down the line. So never hurts my feeling to be targeting lefties here, and I definitely think you can target them tonight, taking on Zach Davies, Colton Wong, Eduardo Escobar, Christian Yelich, Omar Narvaez, Luis Arias, Daniel Vogelbach, Lorenzo Cain, Jackie Bradley Jr. I'd be willing to play every single bat in this lineup. I think they're in a great spot. Vegas clearly telling us that they think that they are as well. So like that spot. Miles Mikolas taking on the San Diego Padres. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. Hard contact stuff is bad. Third worst on the slate in hard contact. He gives up a 462 slugging to righties and lefties is where it gets really, really bad with a 423 slugging. Terrible ground ball, fly ball rates. Terrible K rates. Against righties, he's much more respectable. So the San Diego Padres, lefties in particular, are going to really stand out. It's not the best hitting environment in St. Louis is the only problem. It's really not getting me too excited. And then when you factor in the two most elite hitters in San Diego Padres lineup are Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado, and they both hit from the right-hand side of the plate. I'm not getting all too excited. So to be honest with you, I don't think that's a spot we really want to be going to. I think we can fade it. I don't want to pitch Miles Mikolas, but I don't want to play the Padres bats all that much. Will Crowe taking on the Miami Marlins, another guy that's been absolutely terrible with a 568 slugging given up to righties, a 468 slugging given up to lefties. The only thing he has really going for him is he might be bailed out by this Miami lineup in the Miami ballpark. But if there was ever a time to play a Miami Marlins squad that no one loves playing, this would be it. Will Crowe's terrible. The Pittsburgh Pirates bullpen's not good. The only thing that would be more ideal is a more friendly hitting environment. But overall, you got to like this spot. Miguel Rojas, Jazz Chisholm, the 2 spot, a great play. Brian De La Cruz, Jesus Sanchez, Luis Brinson, Lewin Diaz, Alex Jackson, Isan Diaz at the bottom of the order. Has shown some pop throughout the season as well. So I definitely think the Miami Marlins could be a contrarian, low-owned stack. Keegan Aiken taking on the Boston Red Sox. 48 slugging up to righties, a 506 slugging given up to lefties. That's not good against either handedness of hitters, so I'm not scared to be targeting him for sure with this Boston lineup that is pretty talented up and down. There is no implied run total yet. It's 68 degrees with 5-mile winds blowing in Boston, so that's a little less than ideal from a hitting environment aspect, but they do have some righties that really match left-handed pitching. Enrique Hernandez, Hunter Renfroe, Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez, Bobby Dahlbeck. Now they have added Jose Iglesias, and I'm not too scared to play Rafael Devers or Kyle Schwarber lefty on lefty, get them lower owned, and round out your stacks, and they get to take on this terrible Baltimore Orioles bullpen. So if you want to go there, no issues with that. We have Vince Velasquez taking on the St. Louis Cardinals in that St. Louis ballpark. Once again, not the best hitting environment with a 473 slugging given up to righties, a 528 slugging given up to lefties. That's not the best numbers in the world. The Cardinals do have a pretty decent implied run total here for it being, as I said, not the best hitting environment. I'll pull up the diagram for you guys as far as how the ballpark plays in Busch Stadium. You can see red and yellow going on. I really just wish this was in a better ballpark. It was what it comes down to. A lot of times I won't let myself play teams like this just because I think the upside is somewhat limited, but Vince Velasquez has been pretty bad. 473 slugging the righties, as mentioned, a 528 slugging the lefties. And against righties, the ground ball, fly ball stuff just really hasn't been that great. And the Cardinals do have a very right-handed heavy lineup. They do have Tommy Evans at the top, who's the lefty, but then Goldschmidt, O'Neill, Arenado, Molina, Dylan Carlson, Sosa, and Bader. Actually, a very talented lineup up and down. Harrison Bader in the 8th spot is a great guy to be having all the way down at the bottom of your order with plenty of power, especially from a DFS aspect. So I don't hate it. I just wish it was a better ballpark, but sometimes you got to take those sacrifices. Cole Irvin taking on the Angels. I'm good on targeting them. Chris Flexen taking on the Royals. I really don't think I'm getting too excited about targeting him. Zach Plesac taking on the New York Yankees. You can always make an argument for the Yankees because of the power in their lineup. He gives up a 469 slugging to righties, a 385 slugging to lefties. Honestly, has been pretty effective against left-handed hitting for the most part, so that's limiting my interest in the full stack a little bit. I mean, they still have a 5.17 implied run total. The hitting weather is a little bit less than ideal, but the hitting environment's great. Yankee Stadium, I always love targeting for home runs, of course. And yeah, I think they're a decent stack overall. There's definitely some other options that we'll go over, I think, that are a little bit better. But and one of those options are going to be the Toronto Blue Jays taking on Michael Pineda. He's a little bit down my list, but we'll get to it. And then as we're going along here, Jose Aguirre, we mentioned his hard contact issues of 598 slugging getting up to righties, a 547 slugging getting up to lefties. Really bad across the board as far as slugging and hard contact, to be honest with you. I said you can maybe play him because of how bad Colorado was on the road, but you can definitely get Colorado at a low and stack. Both these bullpens are pretty bad. And then when you're looking at the Rockies up and down, they have Ryan Tapia, Brendan Rodgers, Charlie Blackmon, Trevor Story, CJ Crone, Ryan McMahon. I think it could be a pretty decent low and stack, honestly. I'd give you the green flag on going to them. You know, you're not getting too excited about it, but it's possible. Madison Bumgarner taking on the Houston Astros. He has the worst hard contact rate on the slate with a 38.5% hard contact, giving up a 461 slugging to righties. He's been much more effective against left-hand hitting, so it's really just the righties that match lefties we're looking to target in this one. With the 40.9% hard contact rate, that really does stand out to me. So the Houston Astros righties are definitely going to be in play tonight. When looking at their lineup up and down, Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Carlos Correa, Yulieski Gurriel, Yasmani Diaz, Jake Myers, Chas McCormick, and Martin Maldonado would play every single one of them. I'm only expecting to have one lefty in there in Yordan Alvarez. I think their lineup's going to match up pretty well. And then when you're looking at Minute Maid Park in Houston, plays great down the left field line for home runs. It's a short porch down the left field line. The Astros hitters are very familiar with that short porch, and for that reason, that makes me like them even more. So I definitely have interest in the Houston Astros tonight. Casey Mize against lefties has been a thing for quite some time now. The Rays lefties are definitely going to be in play. He's been much more effective against right-handed hitting, but the lefties, it's just almost a lock. He's going to give up a home run to one of them. Brandon Lau, Austin Meadows, G-Man Choi, Joey Wendell, Brett Phillips, Francisco Mejia, all going to be great plays. Always targeting Casey Mize with left-handed hitting. Will not stop. It's been a recipe for success for quite some time now. Taijuan Walker is a guy that's been giving up more hard contact to righties. The same was going to apply for Brandon Bielak, right next to each other. They're both a little bit better against lefties, but I do think Taijuan Walker is a guy you can target. Brandon Bielak's a guy you can target with right-handed power. Not that the Diamondbacks don't have the most talented lineup in the world, unfortunately, and it might be a lance of colors according to this. But as I've always said, I use DraftKings projected pitchers, and they've been very accurate in the season. So I'd expect that it's going to be Bielak, but Taijuan Walker taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. Less than ideal hitting environment. It's really not the greatest, but I think if there's ever a spot to target the Phillies, this might be it. Pretty deep lineup up and down from a fantasy aspect that does strike out quite a bit, but can also hit some power if you want to go to them. And yeah, that's really the most interest I have on the slate. The last guy I would have to mention is Eliezer Hernandez. His splits against lefties are very bad, so the Pittsburgh lefties will be in play. It's just not the best hitting environment in Miami. I'm really not getting excited. And, of course, Michael Pineda, I mentioned the Toronto Blue Jays stack, a 434 slugging given up to righties, a 479 slugging given up to lefties. Really not good. And the Minnesota bullpen is terrible as well. I think you have to be having some serious interest in the Toronto Blue Jays bats. I kind of saved them for last year, but it's definitely hard to ignore how hot they've been. They're in a great spot here. They can definitely put up some major runs. They have a 5.68 implied run total. Twins bullpen's terrible. Pineda's terrible, as I mentioned, and this lineup's just loaded. Springer, Semien, Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, Teoscar Hernandez, Alejandro Kirk, Lourdes Gurriel, Fernando Grichuk, Jake Lamb. I had to play every single bat in that lineup. And that is my overall breakdown of this big Friday slate. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Christian Yelich taking on Zach Davies. We mentioned his hard contact issues overall against left-handed hitting. He gives up a 464 slugging to those lefties with a 357 WOBA, and I love targeting left-handed hitters in Miller Park. I think this is a great spot for him to even maybe hit 2 home runs, getting the top elite hitter in this stack. I expect this lineup to turn over multiple times. And then when you're breaking down what Davies goes to in his repertoire, Yelich absolutely mashes off his pitches. Really reliant on the sinker changeup combination, and Yelich features a 374 ISO with a 465 WOBA against the sinker. And then as far as when he breaks out the changeup, that shouldn't be an issue either because Yelich has a 220 ISO with a 390 WOBA. Love this spot for Christian Yelich. Think he has some massive upsides and some slate-breaking upside. Get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Christian Yelich, get him in your lineups, and that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be greatly appreciated. The NFL Finals Pick video will be uploaded soon. And don't forget to check out all my premium packages. You become a KJK DFS fan club if you're interested, all that fun stuff. I wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.